January 31st, 2002, Thursday. What a fucking day. As I write this, 12:30 p.m. It has almost been exactly 24 hours since I left to go on my adventure. The drive up was slow and kind of nerve-wracking, but I made it. It took 3.5 hours. Normally, it is 2 hours. It actually could have been a normal drive, but I suffered a few small anxiety attacks. I was on I-70 and passed a sign that read Walmego, Scenic Drive, and I kept going. But something kept telling me that was my exit. So I drove from mile marker 328 to 315 and freaked out that I did in fact miss it, so I turned around and went back to the Walmego exit. It is a way that I've been before, cutting through Walmego over to 24, but it wasn't the same way I went last time. I saw a sign that said Manhattan, 20 miles, so I took that for a good 20 minutes and freaked out again because I didn't recognize where I was. So I turned around again and went back to where I turned and cut through Walmego into 24 and then into Manhattan. By the way, when I turned around at mile marker 315 on I-70, if I had went to 313, I would have found my exit I was looking for and been in Manhattan in 10 minutes. All of this doubt and confusion cost me an hour. By the time I got there, I was feeling sick to my stomach and my chest was constricted. I wanted to cry so bad, and I really don't know why. I just felt so lost and hopeless, and it wasn't just because of my backtracking. All of the ways I went would have got me there, but I just doubted myself and didn't trust my instincts. I got there and we didn't leave for about an hour. 2 people backed out and we picked up 2 others. About 5 p.m., we got on the road. We drove in this guy Caleb's small car. Marilyn, a girl named Mandy, and I were crammed in the back. We got about 15 to 20 miles out of town and Marilyn's dad called and demanded that Marilyn not go. So we had to take her home. The thing being that she had to be there in order for us to pick up our tickets at the box office. And even if we could have gotten the tickets without her presence, by the time we dropped her off and went back, we would have been too late. Plus, Wichita was supposedly worse than here, so we didn't get to go to the concert. I was bummed, but not really. We all knew that going down in that weather wasn't the smartest thing, but we wanted to. When we decided not to go, I was actually relieved. I was nervous about driving there, but I just didn't want to willfully turn it down. I'd rather have it be someone else's decision or a group decision. So the 5 of us went to eat at this Chinese buffet. Then Marilyn and I got back to her room and the night became worth it all. I was still feeling sick and I was still having small anxiety attacks. Marilyn and I talked about us, how I miss her so much and want her back, and how she fears I'll be the same person I was. I have no doubt in my mind about cheating on her again. I know I won't. But I do know that most of the things that weren't working may still be there. We said a lot of things we've been needing to say. We both heard things we needed to hear. And it felt good. And we also made love. She wanted to, I wanted to. And like before, we both knew it'd be weird and it wouldn't change anything, but we made love and it felt so good. I know that she still loves me and that I mean a lot to her. And I love her and she means a lot to me, but sometimes I think we need to do this or something just as intimate to keep us remembering that. To feel it more than just know it in our heads. It was really great. After that, the night was fun. I still felt a little weird though. The tension in my chest was there. But after midnight, when we were getting ready for bed, it went away. Funny story. On the wall next to Marilyn's bed is a class picture with all the girls in the sorority that Marilyn belongs to. I was looking at all the people and recognized one person and couldn't believe it. Mandy M. Now this is a different Mandy than the Mandy mentioned in the car. This is one from a while back. It's the hard part about changing people's names in journals because when there's other people with the same name, like you get them confused. Mandy, she's in Marilyn's sorority, and Marilyn knows her. I see Mandy's picture, and I get this shit-eating, smiling grin on my face, and Marilyn goes, "What? Do you know one of them?" I just kept smiling. "What? Did you fuck one of them?" she asked. I smiled and pointed at Mandy. Marilyn couldn't believe it. Mandy took my virginity, actually. Marilyn went crazy. Not in a bad way. So as it turns out, Marilyn and Mandy ride together every once in a while, and Marilyn has talked about me before to Mandy, talking about what's going on between her and I, but referring to me as my boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. So she's been talking about me to a girl who took my virginity, and neither of them knew it. 2 girls who have slept with me, the first and the last, becoming somewhat friends. Weird. This really freaked Marilyn out because it's funny, not sick or nothing. Now Marilyn is dying to talk to Mandy. I told Marilyn that I wouldn't be surprised if Mandy doesn't remember me. Anyway, I got up this morning after sleeping on the floor about 8 a.m. and headed out, getting home a little after 10. Mr. Flynn calls me and asks me to work open to close, so I'm at work now. Luckily, I'm up in booth. I'll be here until about 2 in the morning. Neither Kirk or Will are working, so I left a message on Will's phone saying that if the guys want to come down and catch a flick, to head on down. 6:35 p.m. I have encountered 68 a few more times. On Marilyn's computer, some guy's screen name ended in 68, and at work, the print of Birthday Girl that I built up is number 608. 8:51 p.m. Another 68 sighting. I was watching Black Hawk Down for a few minutes, and one of the Black Hawks was called Super 68. 3:11 a.m. Finally, I am home and can go to bed. I started the last round of shows while Eric was building up his print of Slackers. I helped close concession, moved all the prints, made the trailer list, and shut down all the projectors. Eric's friends, Elliot and Daniel, came down to watch Slackers. I was waiting for Mr. F and Mr. Quint to give me the okay to start Birthday Girl for them. I waited until almost 1, and then I started it, and they didn't even watch it. Some friends of ours, Mike and Vicky, were in there, and they watched it. But it's still pissing me off. I could have run it at 10 p.m. if I wanted to, but instead we were there until 2:30 a.m. Yeah, but I'm home now. Eric and his friend would fit in so well with my friends. The way we bullshit and talk about how great things, quote, used to be, quote, back in the day. One day, Eric and I should unite our posses. It could be cool. It could be fun. Chris, Rhonda, and I are the greatest. And Eric, too. All of us ran the entire place today. Rhonda in concession, Chris in box, and me in booth. And Eric came in about 2:30 p.m., even though he wasn't scheduled until 6 p.m. So just remember who the badasses are. End quote. Why won't you talk to me? I feel like I'm drowning. You never talk to me. You know I can't breathe now. What are you thinking? We're going nowhere. What are you feeling? We're going nowhere. Pink Floyd, song, Keep Talking.